welcome to Gaming News Weekly, your weekly gaming news show every Friday at 5 p.m. with your host, as always, every week. Me, I'm Rich, and my good friend, gaming padre, and great mate, Tabs. Say hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
Love it. So we've got some interesting bits to get through this week. I would say an okay news week. Some interesting things to get through. And then obviously we've got everything else at the end, as always.
Rich, stop lying through your teeth, mate. Just tell everyone that you want to smash through this in record time so we can play Elden Ring. Just be honest.
I mean, there's a good segue into what we've been playing this week, and obviously we've been playing Elden Ring because that's what we'll be playing for probably the rest of our existence, given how big the game is. So yeah, I'm keen to get this filmed, get it in the bag so we can crack on. Tabs, what have you been playing?
Elden Ring, mate, yeah. Should we move on to the first story? No, we're loving it. It just keeps like, as soon as you start to think, I must be coming to, a middle point now, it must be peaking, and then you just unlock this colossal area of the map again that kind of just puts paid to all of those expectations you have. It's a flooring game in so many ways, and it's just not getting old. We're putting in a lot of hours now, and there is friction because it's difficult, and the way we play it multiplayer wise isn't ideal sometimes. But I tell you what, I'm not sick of it by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, often in that regard, we're basically doing things twice, aren't we? So we'll be doing something in your world, then we'll be doing something in my world, and vice versa. So often we're doing things twice. But yeah, I don't feel that fatigue with this game. I think it's because the script's being rewritten and ripped up all the time in terms of, there's this massive new map. What's this new enemy? Oh dear, what's this? Yeah, there's so many things going on all the time, and yeah, it's just such an enjoyable game to play. I'm really enjoying the grind.
Absolutely, mate. Recommend it, Barcadians.
Absolutely. Let's get into the first story. So, first up this week, we've got PlayStation Plus Pass, and Eurogamer had this to say on this piece of news. Following months of unconfirmed reports, Sony has finally made its long-rumoured PlayStation Plus overhaul official. The new service, which launches in June, combines features of both PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now into one service with 3 distinct subscription tiers. PlayStation Plus Essential, $6.99 monthly, $19.99 quarterly, $49.99 yearly, offers the same benefits as PlayStation Plus Now, namely 2 monthly downloadable games, online multiplayer access, cloud storage for saved games, and extra discounts. PlayStation Plus Extra, which is a little bit more at $10.99 a month, $31.99 quarterly, or $83.99 yearly, adds to the above a catalogue of 400 PS4 and PS5 games to download, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalogue and third-party partners. PlayStation Plus Premium, which is $13.49 monthly, $39.99 quarterly, and $99.99 yearly, goes further with 340 additional games. PS3 games will be available to stream, while classic PS1, PS2, and PSP games will be available to stream or download. Time-limited game trials will also be included for players to try before they buy. At launch, Death Stranding, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Mortal Kombat 11, and Returnal will be included in the extra and premium tiers. From June, PlayStation Now will transition to the new look service and no longer be available as a standalone product. Existing customers will automatically be moved to the premium tier. Existing PlayStation Plus users will remain on the essential tier. So, big change up, and essentially this is Sony's sort of back into your court to Game Pass. In essence, this is their equivalent to Game Pass, which obviously Microsoft have had for quite some time now. I think there's arguments for goods and bads on this. I don't like the fact it's more expensive, but I get why it is. You're getting quite a bit more for your money, and there's hundreds of games available. I think I'd read there are 700 possibly on the highest tier. And actually, when you go yearly, $99.99 for what you're getting, does that seem fairly good value? I would say probably. So yeah, really good, really exciting. Yet to see what games are going to be available. I don't know whether Tabs can maybe chime in and see what he's seen on this. But yeah, I think it's a good thing, and hopefully it can, fat out the PlayStation sort of Plus area a little bit better than it already is. Tabs.
I think it's interesting that Jim Ryan, his tone when he introduced this, I can't remember his exact words, but he's almost dismissive of it before it's even out. So it basically suggests they didn't really want to have to do this, but for competition's sake, and because they can see what Game Pass is doing across the market, they feel like they have to enter that arena, get some skin in the game. But obviously, it seems pretty clear they're not going to be bringing their brand new games to, these PlayStation Plus variants. They're still going to kind of try and get those sales, those initial sales for those games for people who are buying them outright. So they're kind of like, they're just trying to work it into their existing model without disrupting, those initial sales. So it's interesting to see how it'll pan out. I do think it's great to see this classic proposition they've got, because we talked about it previously, how they don't do enough with their heritage and the history of PlayStation. A little bit disappointing in isolation to see that PS3 games are going to be streamed. I think there was a lot of hope. Digital Foundry probably were hoping that Sony, because they've got that kind of first-hand access to all of the the original files and the PlayStation architecture, they could actually figure out an emulation solution for the PlayStation 3 and then improve the performance of a lot of the PS3 games, which was lacking somewhat, probably because of the Cell processor. But apart from that, it's still great to see. A lot remains to be seen, though. You mentioned there about the games, mate. I don't actually know. We've got these numbers here, 740 games, including those classics for the premium version, and then 400 PS4 and PS5 games, the Plus Extra. That's where it's really going to count, isn't it? Once we see what that lineup looks like, that's what's going to make you think, shall I, shan't I? I mean, I think we pay for PlayStation Plus as it is, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I was actually reading about this today, and I sort of feel like, and obviously I just pay into it. It's one of those things. I have downloaded the PlayStation Plus monthly games, I would say fairly regularly, like 3 or 4 a year maybe, that I download and play. And I
hardly ever play them.
Yes, but I did think, actually, to play online, so for me and you to play online together in Elden Ring, we have to be subscribed on that. And I just think that just seems like a bit of a swizz to me. I don't know, I never really thought about it apart from today, but it just seems like a bit of a swizz. The online multiplayer is basically
gated.
Yeah, gated, which seems really bad. So
I think they're all at it, though. I think they're all at it these
I'm not
days,
saying, absolutely. I'm not saying that's like unique to PlayStation. I'm just saying that seems really bad. Something that, we already pay for the internet, and then we have to then pay to use our own internet to then play with somebody else who's also paying for their own internet.
It's the egregious monetization of the modern games industry. We're even having our console platform of choice monetized. Yeah.
And did I see today, in that sort of vein, that the games industry in the UK is now worth 7.6 billion?
No, not surprising at all.
So
it's going to take over the world eventually, isn't it?
Absolutely. So
if it hasn't already.
I think this is a good story, and I'm pleased about it. Does it offer good value, Tabs? What do you think? So you go to the highest tier. Do you think that's decent value?
It's hard to say because it's such an abstract at the minute. Once we've got these lineups and we literally know, it's all going to come down to the games, isn't it? And it's all going to come down to what your personal connection is with some of these classic games, with some of the existing titles on PlayStation 5. Like, if you love 10, 15 of those games and you just can't live without them, of course it's going to be like, this is value for money for me. So it remains to be seen. But I suppose in comparison to Game Pass, and because they've got this unique heritage, being Sony and PlayStation, it seems okay so far, I would say.
Excellent. Well, do you want to take us on to what was quite a demoralising story from this week?
Yes, indeed. And we're downhill from the headline, mate, which reads, "Don't hold your Breath of the Wild 2 delay." Ding! Sorry.
Doesn't work.
I thought it worked.
It sort of works. It sort of works. But anyway, carry on.
So sadly, yeah, you know what's coming. Courtesy of The Verge, this is what they had to say. The still unnamed sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been delayed to spring 2023, producer E.G. Onuma announced today in a video update. The game had previously been set for a 2022 release window. We've decided to extend our development a bit and change the release to spring 2023, Onuma said, in order to make this game's experience something special. The entire development team is working diligently on this game, so please wait a while longer. Nintendo first revealed that it was working on a sequel to Breath of the Wild in 2019, followed by a brief look at the upcoming title's new gameplay at E3 2021 last year. According to Onuma, we'll see gameplay extend up into the skies of the vast open-world iteration of Hyrule, along with new gameplay elements and encounters. Much of the information about Breath of the Wild 2 is still being kept secret though, including its actual title. Nintendo still refers to the game as the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. With the game now set to release next year though, there's still plenty of time for Nintendo to reveal more about Link's next big adventure. So yeah, like you say mate, it's deflating news. There's so many fans of the original because it was such a monumental release game in that Zelda / open world genre. And in many ways, you know, I think Elden Ring has kind of picked up that baton and perhaps, you know, had its own monumental impact. But yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it, what's going on, because we just don't know enough about it. We first kind of thought it was comparable to when Majora's Mask came out following Ocarina of Time. Obviously, Ocarina of Time been worked on for, I think, 7 years plus. And we knew that they were trying to get this kind of rapid developed game out using using the engine, a lot of the assets. And they did manage to achieve something which was definitely scaled back, but it had its own kind of, the way it was designed still made it feel like a really meaty game. And I think initially we probably thought with this that we might be seeing something similar. And whether that's changed, whether the scope's changed, as things do, no doubtedly, undoubtedly in games development and iteration, because especially on a Zelda game, it's such an important franchise for Nintendo. I can imagine the temptation is always to do more, always to go the extra mile, always to put more polish into it. And obviously, as you're creating these games, it's an artistic pursuit. You must constantly get, we could do this with that now. We could do that with this. And it's constantly like doubling down. But I said to you, I feel like what we've seen, perhaps a little bit with Horizon Forbidden West, but more so with Elden Ring, and the kind of ripples it's had across the games industry, 12 million plus sales, as we know. I think Nintendo, because of their caliber, their expertise and their reputation, they can't put this out and risk it getting lost in as far as, there's no doubt, I'm sure it'll be a solid game, and it was probably set up to be a solid game. But now is the pressure on even more, because Elden Ring has stole so many people's hearts and minds that they really need to, it needs to hit that same note as the original did. And that's almost echoed in what Anuma's saying here about, we need this time because this isn't just on the land, it's also in the air. He's almost doubling the scope of the game in that respect. But mate, let's hand over to you. What do you think?
What, for the 10 seconds I'm allowed to talk for?
I get carried away.
I think it's interesting, isn't it? I do think this, I'd say I spoke at length, although Tabs argues this, that I didn't think we would see Breath of the Wild this year. Simply for the fact that there's too many big games coming out this year, and I felt like there was every possibility it could end up a little bit like Horizon. No one is talking about Horizon anymore, and it's a brilliant game, and it was just overshadowed by what seemingly could be one of the games of this generation. I know we're very early into this generation and it's cross-platform, but a fantastic game. And I think there's I would feel like there's an element of, we need to make sure this is outstanding. Otherwise, this will get lost in all of the other amazing games. Because you've got to remember, for the sort of last 18 months, 2 years, we've just seen delay after delay after delay. And now we're seeing the fruits of those games come out, but they're all coming out together, which means we have got such a raft of outstanding games this year that there is a danger that if you put something out there that's maybe not amazing, it could just be lost. So I think good thing that they're going to keep it in the oven for a bit longer. They obviously want to make it be as good as possible, and I think I agree with Tabs. I think this is not going to be just a rematch. I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff in here, and it will be quite, almost feel like a completely new world, even though it is in essence the same world. I think they'll have populated with lots of new stuff, lots of new activities to do. I think they've done a big job on this, and part and parcel of that will be these sort of upper areas that seemingly are going to be sort of extra land or dungeons or whatever they're going to end up. So yeah.
You also wonder, mate, we don't know, do we, if there's any machinations, whatever the word is, with regards to a hardware refresh, because obviously we've heard rumours about maybe a Switch Pro coming, Switch 2 at some point. Could this be being held back again to release alongside that? Is there other variables at play? But yeah, it's probably a mixture of all of the above. And just as you say, mate, if there's one game that I want them to take the time with, it would be this, because we want to have the same, the same level of experience we did with the first.
Absolutely. Right, let's move us on to story number 3 this week, and it's Grand Theft subscription service. Now that's a good heading, Tabs.
Hey.
I like it. So this came from Gaming Bible. Grand Theft Auto fans around the world have come together in their hatred of Rockstar Games' latest announcement, a subscription service for GTA Online. For those who might have missed it, the news last week, Rockstar Games revealed GTA Plus to a disbelieving internet. For $5.99 a month, UK pricing is yet to be confirmed, it will be $5.99, subscribers will get exclusive access to increased rewards on certain missions, the ability to upgrade items free of charge, and reoccurring payments of GTA dollars 500,000. Essentially, the subscription is a way to regularly rake in more online currency than those without a subscription. This is not a service that GTA Online players have been asking for, and it's certainly not something that's needed. It's not surprising at all, then, that the GTA community has reacted to the news with the same level of disdain as if Rockstar had whipped off its pants and farted on an orphan's head. As far as I can see, there doesn't appear to be any goodwill for this announcement. How will the starving indie devs over at Rockstar make it without this? One user joked on GTA Online subreddit. This is the kind of thing Rockstar would have made fun of in-game, added another. This honestly feels like an April Fool's joke. So there we have it. That's what they've done. I feel very, very conflicted on this one. So in essence, they're saying if you pay into this, you can have a better online experience to people who aren't paying into this. Because money is we've played GTA Online. It's hard to come by money. It's hard to make good money. It takes a long time. You've got to set businesses up. You've got to, keep those businesses going. And I just feel like this is just not needed. Bearing in mind, this game already makes a crap ton of money every month without the need to do this. So I begs belief why they would choose to do this. And it can only be to try and create even more profits. Tabs.
Yeah, mate, I think it is just the death nail in Rockstar. They've been consumed, haven't they, by this kind of, commercially obsessed approach with games development. And we're seeing it all over the place. But, it's just that last thing you say that was added there. So this is the kind of thing old Rockstar would have made fun of in-game. They were always famed. It was a big kind of, part of the personality of GTA games, that kind of satirical nature where they hold the mirror up to almost the absurdity of whatever contemporary culture they were poking fun at. But they've become that now.
Yeah, agreed.
We saw it with the GTA trilogy, and that kind of cynical release of that collection of games, and they basically, as it was printed onto disc, they pissed on all of the copies as they were going out the door. And now we're seeing this, which taps into everything we've talked about with the woes of modern gaming, mate. The stratification of gaming, introducing class systems, segregation, division into our gaming communities. Because as you say, it's a pay-to-win scenario. It's I get a better level of service if I pay for it, and it's exploitation of their fan base. So, yeah, I'm absolutely disappointed in Rockstar. I'm not surprised because we've seen them on this slippery slope, but it just feels like their soul has been absolutely signed away to the devil at this point, and I've not got a lot of hope really. As we continue, they've clearly got a lot of talent still, Red Dead Redemption, and they've still got a lot of artistic output there, which we can look forward to, but it seems to be constantly overshadowed by this commercially obsessed monetization tactic and strategy, which just leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Absolutely.
Yeah, not good at all. But let's get this wrapped up with everything else tabs. So I'll kick us off, and with a hilarious first story. Deleted tweets suggest abandon might have actually been abandoned. So there was some obviously tweets on there saying when the demo and stuff would come out and when it would launch, and they've all been deleted, suggesting that potentially it has been canned.
Oh, what a laughingstock that project would be if that's the case. Knack trademark filed by Sony ahead of rumoured announcements this week. That's Mark Cerny's baby, isn't it? I think, Knack.
Very interesting. And oh no, Valheim is teasing a god-awful spider monster in Mistlands. Fantastic.
Gran Turismo 7 director reveals fixes to rebalance the in-game economy. Just in time for your purchase, mate, I'm sure, in the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Right, that is it for this week's news. We hope you've enjoyed it. As always, if you would like to get in contact with us, talk about the stories, let us know what you think, let us know what you've been playing even. Get in the comments down below and drop us a comment, and we'll endeavour to get back to you on everything. But I think that's it for this week. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, give it a like, it really helps us. And if you're new here and you have enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and become a Arcadian. But I think that's all we've got time for. Another one for the archive.
Stamped and completed.